If you would like to save a lot of money in the salon and a lot of time every day styling your hair, then I'm going to show you how I saved over £200 a treatment with the same salon results at home. As a working mum, a keratin blow dry has been transformational in my daily routine, and I hope it is for you too. It says that this is a complete keratin treatment kit. What's amazing about it is it actually will last you more than one time, especially if you have medium hair. It says it is 3 treatments of short hair, 2 treatments of medium, and 1 treatment of long. My hair is pretty long, and I have got to tell you, I've always got at least 2 treatments out of it, because I've maybe just not wanted to overload my hair very much. But it's not even just a one-off purchase, which is again amazing for what you get from it. So it's sealed at the top. Let me just cut it open and show you what is in the box. It really is everything that you need. So first of all, you have your instructions, which I definitely recommend having a good look through before you start. We have hair clips. How handy is that? You don't have to use your own hair clips or wreck your own hair clips, and you can never have enough of these things. Nextly, you have a little comb, and you have the hairbrush, the painting brush for putting the treatment on. You have gloves in their own little packet. This is the clarifying pre-treatment shampoo that you will definitely want to be using prior to doing the rest of the Brazilian blow dry or keratin blow dry. This basically strips, I don't know if you guys can see it, this basically strips out any product or buildup that you have in your hair so that it's a completely fresh base to take the keratin. And then we have the actual treatment itself. And this, basically everything except the gloves, is what you can keep for follow-up treatments. This smell is not horrendous. I'm gonna tell you. If I can actually open it, here we go. It's got a seal at the top, which is also great. It kind of smells like maybe a little bit of cocoa butter, and a slight chemical smell, but really not overwhelming at all. So basically, guys, this is everything we have in the pack. The clips, the clarifying shampoo, the treatment itself, some gloves, a comb, and the brush, along with the instructions. So let's get started. For how horrendous I look right now, but hopefully this will demonstrate the results even further. So this is my hair, a little bit dirty and unbrushed, and it's been up in a mum bun for the last 24 hours. So the first thing I'm going to do is really brush it out well. I have a Tangle teaser. The reason you're going to want to brush it out well is that you're using the clarifying shampoo and it doesn't have a conditioner. The shampoo itself is actually quite conditioning, so it's not like a really hard shampoo, but if you're used to wearing conditioner in your hair and then you're suddenly, wait, that's not too loud, you're suddenly just using a shampoo, it can feel quite painful to then brush it out afterwards. So this will just allow you to kind of minimize that pain a bit. So I'm brushing my hair through in its horrendous state, and now I am going to give it 2 shampoos with the clarifying shampoo. Okay, I'm back. So I just shampooed my hair. I didn't actually film the last bit, which was me brushing it out after shampooing it. It is the worst bit of the whole the whole experience of doing the Brazilian blow dry for me, because I just rely on conditioner so much, and when I don't have it and you literally have to brush every strand again and again with the Tangle Teezer, it's just a little bit painful. So I thought I'll spare you guys that, and I did it myself, so I have brushed it out. Also, please excuse this delightful old pajama top that I'm wearing. You obviously want to make sure that you are just protecting your clothes or putting something that you don't care about on. So once you have shampooed it twice and you've brushed it out, you just want to blow dry it, and they advise to blow dry it on a medium heat and to blow dry it straight. Definitely get it as straight as you can. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll check back in to do the next step. Okay, so I've just about finished the blow dry. It really didn't take that long, probably about 6 or 7 minutes. It's just about dry. You definitely want to make sure that it is totally dry. And just a couple of notes on blow drying it. I started with a wire brush to just, you know, make sure that I got it as straight as possible. And then when I was sure that it was going in the right straight direction, I switched to actually my Tangle Teezer paddle brush. And when drying it, I just ensured that the hairdryer was pointed down as much as possible, just to get it as straight as I possibly could without having, you know, the use of straighteners or anything like that. So now that we've got it straight, we're about to move on to the actual keratin treatment. Okay, so I just changed direction ever so slightly because I am going to have to look in the mirror and chat to you at the same time. So for the sectioning part, as I mentioned, this pack gives you 2 sectioning clips, which is brilliant. So open first. You'll find that as much as you section your hair, you're going to have to still bring down little sections after you have coated some of it with the treatment. So what I tend to do is section it twice and just know that I am going to have to keep bringing some down. So I section typically temple to temple and just pull that hair up and completely out of the way, because we won't be touching that for a little while. And then I take from the bottom of the ears and section again, and this is actually the bit that you're going to keep pulling from. So that part I'm not going to section quite as tightly. I'm just going to twist that up, make sure it doesn't fall down, and secure at the back, just leaving this pretty thin section of hair at the bottom. So let's get moving to the keratin. And then what you want to do is just take the smallest amount, give it a good shake first of all with the lid on obviously, and take a really small amount, like so. And then what you want to do is start painting it down the hair with strands that are about 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick, depending on how thick your hair is. And what I do is I pay more attention to the ends than I do the very top. And I continue that all the way around the hair. Sorry, I'll just wait for it to get into focus. And this is why we keep having to section down again and again, because you're just pulling off tiny strands at a time. Again, right down to the bottom. And you'll find that once you get into your flow, you're just steaming through this. You're not even thinking about it after a while. You can even stick on a movie or something. So once you've coated a layer, just brush through it, and that will pull off any of the excess fluid, the excess treatment, I should say. and that just stops you know, having too much of a build-up and overcoating the hair. So we're going to continue that throughout the rest of the section, just pulling down probably about a half a centimetre of a section each time, and working your way through it until you've completed the hair. So guys, I have the full treatment in. From a timing perspective, that wasn't too bad. That was about, I think that was about 20 to 25 minutes, so not terrible. And now is for the blow drying bit. So after you've done this, you're going to be like, oh my god, how am I going to keep this in my hair? It's so greasy. Don't worry, it's going to get much, much better when it's dried. So for the drying, I would really recommend sectioning it again into two. So from the temples, oh gosh, from the temples, just taking that hair completely off your face, and then from above the ears this time, just section that way as well. This is also the point where you really want to make sure that you have a window open. It's not terribly chemically, but it does sting your eyes a little bit, much like chopping onions would, to be honest. And they do recommend therefore drying away from your face. Another little tip is I am using an old little travel paddle brush that I don't care that much about, because a little bit of product will come off as you start to dry through. So that might be something that you want to think about, but of course you could just clean your brush. I'm just clearly too lazy. So I'm gonna dry on a medium heat at full power. Okay, so the blow dry is complete. Your hair should feel, it should definitely feel dry. It might feel like there's a little bit of build-up in there, like you've left conditioner on a little too long, or you've gone a day without washing it, but it definitely shouldn't have any stickiness or residue in it. You should be able to run your fingers through it and not feel any wetness at all. I know that this feels like an ordeal. Trust me, it is totally worth it. And now we're at the final stage. So I would definitely recommend turn your straighteners on. You'll need them. And either wash and dry the clips that you used, or use 2 new ones. And you might want to have a comb, or again a little brush or paddle brush, because you are going to be straightening repeatedly and brushing through, so you'll definitely want to feel kind of comfortable when you're doing that. So for the sectioning this time, I am doing again from the temple across, and pin that right up and out of the way using a fresh clip. And then you're going to want to do it again from the top of the ears all the way around, so that you've just got this bottom section here, and pin that up as well. And my straighteners are heated up and ready to go, so I'm going to show you the first couple of times. Now they recommend to do this minimum 5 times, and I think I normally do like between 5 to 10, but no more than 10. And if you haven't got the room ventilated, make sure again that you do, because the onion eyes will ramp it up a notch again. So you have a kind of smallish section here, and you just want to straighten it slowly through right to the very end. Grab it again at the top and slowly pull all the way down to the ends, and you're going to keep doing this. Sorry, I know I keep looking at the V-lengths. I just want to make sure I'm not going to burn myself with the straighteners. And if you can believe, the baby is still asleep. My 6-year-old is lying on the bed, keeping me company. I'm trying to make sure that his eyes don't get stingy as well by having lots of windows open and the heating on, of course. And that has been about 10 times. And I'm just gonna move on to another section.
Something ain't right, blaming me for causing your insanity. I'm pretty sure you're born like this. Talk before you think it's your original touch, but I guess it kinda works on you. You got me paper thin, doing concrete face, diving romance in the madness. You got me good, baby, keep on coming back to you. I know that you know it, 'cause you already messed it up.
I have done the straightening, and that's taken, according to this viewfinder, 17 minutes. But you definitely need to go through it with your fingers and just see if you think that there's some bits that are less smooth than others. So for example, I can feel a chunk, which is no surprise, at the back of my hair here, which is where I've got the biggest amount of hair. And so I'm gonna take a bit of time and just go back over that like another 10 times and make sure that I've got it super smooth. So definitely have a good feel through it and try and pick up on the areas that you think might just need an extra going over. Here's the good news and the bad news, actually. So the good news is that you can keep straightening this as much as your heart desires over the next 72 hours. One of the things I will say, and I heard this from my hairdresser, was that the keratin apparently does protect your hair, so don't worry about doing crazy heat damage, because you have so much protection and conditioning layers in here that are penetrating your hair every time you add heat to it. So don't worry about overheating it. But it's definitely worth it, so hang on in there.